Good Tuesday afternoon, everyone. I'm Fox 19 Now First Alert Meteorologist Brad Maushart here in the streaming center. And it's steamy outside. We're not going to see much in the way of rain today. That's good news if you have to get out and get some of the yard work in. Yeah, we had some pesky fog this morning. That's long gone. Temperatures, though, with the lesser rain chances today, they are going to be on the rise. We'll see high temperatures climbing all the way back in a lot of spots back into the mid to upper 80s, maybe a few 90s out there. And feels like temperatures are going to be sultry mid-90s this afternoon. Otherwise, today, likely our driest day of at least the next 7. Our weather number of the day is 7. That is not the number of rain opportunities we have because we have more than that. 7 is the longest stretch here of consecutive days in 2025 with at least some sort of measurable precipitation. That ended on May the 5th, so it started in April, ended May the 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Our longest ever streak was just a little bit longer than that. When we hit that 4 times in 2017, 1943, 1908, and back in the 1800s. I imagine a few of you probably don't remember that one. 1888, one of the older records there. 11 days with measurable precipitation, at least 1/100th of an inch. So 7 is the number to beat. We are up to 1 as of yesterday. Today there's a chance. In fact, I don't know if we've seen any precipitation. I don't think we had any, even with the drizzle, maybe some of the fog down at the airport. I'm assuming they're not going to count that. But yeah, just the slimmest of chances. We might reset and start again tomorrow with better rain chances starting to slide back in for your Wednesday. And well, like I said, we have a chance each and every day from here on out. So if you have the yard work to get done, get out there and get it in today with just that isolated chance for storms, because you can see what happens. It's just wave after wave of rain and storms sliding our way as we head into this week. I'll keep my eyes here in the comments, see if anybody has any questions or anything. Otherwise, probably about a 10-minute stream today. I'm not really anticipating on staying on too long because kind of a broken record after you say the word rain 5 million times because that's what we have on the way. Good news, bad news situation. Yeah, there's a lot of rain. Good news, it keeps the temperatures closer to normal. So we're not going to see any big heat waves out there. We're not going to have a stretch of 90s or, a long, elongated stretch of triple-digit heat indices, but it will be warm outside. There will be increased humidity with all the rain hanging around, so that's kind of the bad news. Other bad news, yeah, we could be talking some flooding by the time we hit this weekend or early next week. Just depends on who sees those storms or who sees, a good string of them. Something to keep an eye on. Temperatures right now, CVG finally rebounded there for a long time through the morning. If you were watching us, 10, 11 o'clock, it had been sitting at the low 70s there at CVG because of all the fog that kept some of the, kept the temperature gauge there in the shade for much of the morning. But now up to 80, matching what just about everybody else is seeing. Most temperatures here around the Ohio Valley, upper 70s, low 80s, not surprising. As we approach our normal for this time of the year already here at midday, which is 86 degrees. And I do think most areas are going to get above that as we work way into this afternoon. Now, because we saw so much, rainfall outside, or some sunshine rather yesterday, and we started the day with a little bit of fog out there this morning. Some areas, again, sitting a little cooler in the Ohio Valley, but don't worry, that latest warm wave sweeping in already from the west with nothing but sun right now back in Indy and stretching all the way back into southern Illinois. The only showers we're seeing right now are down in our southernmost communities, Mason, Robertson counties. If I grab the right mouse, it would actually do what I'm trying to do. Here we go. There's some showers down here, Robertson County, Maysville, Mason County area, Lewis County, all down through Kentucky. Again, more mist than hit outside. About 90% of us are going to have no problem staying dry outside today, but we could see a few stray storms rolling on, and we're kind of sandwiched between 2 weather systems, one low off to the east, which gave us a good rain chances yesterday, one off to the west, which is going to give us increased rain chances Wednesday and Thursday, and then we're kind of just stuck right there in the middle, just behind the cold front. Like I said, slightly cooler than hot front because we are a little cooler than yesterday, but really all it really does is give us, slightly less humidity. Even that's not too noticeable outside today. So not much of a break with the cold fronts this time of the year. Now, each and every day, like I showed you towards the top of the show, we have a chance for rainfall, some days better than others. Great app to have here, the First Alert Weather app. Not only can you track those rain chances in the daily forecast, but there's an hour-by-hour option if you want to see what's happening through the day, and it looks just like this. If you pull up your phone right now, this is exactly what it'll look like because I put these numbers in myself. Temperatures back to the mid-80s this afternoon. That window for a slim storm chance, as you can see in Kentucky, has opened up already. We'll continue that through about 6 to 7 o'clock tonight. After that, I think we're rain-free, so if you want to make some dinner plans or you want to head down to the Reds game tonight, great night for it. Just expect that it's going to be pretty muggy, pretty mild out there. We'll end up topping up briefly in the upper 80s. And then we'll sink our way back down to about 80 degrees by 9 o'clock, upper 70s through the early overnight, and then eventually cooling our way back down tomorrow morning to about 70 degrees. Shouldn't have any fog to contend with early tomorrow morning, but a few spotty showers are going to push in as early as the morning drive, especially south of town, similar to where those showers are now. Better chances for some storms into the afternoon with some daytime heating, and those storm chances, increased cloud cover, that should all help to keep temperatures in the mid-80s for your Wednesday. And while the storm chances will be there, it will not be a washout tomorrow either. Tomorrow looks to be more spotty than anything, but things really do pick up into Thursday, and you'll see it here. Here's our day Wednesday. Again, spotty showers and thunderstorms out there. Thursday, a weak front starts to dive on through. That'll wring us out like a sponge again for Thursday. And then Friday, things become pretty spotty outside. Yeah, there's a lot of green on here, but this is not a high-resolution model, so it gives you kind of a general idea of where rain's going to be or where the storm chances could be. So don't expect it to look this busy on Friday if you have the Friday night plans. And I know the Reds are in town every day through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, through Sunday. So by Monday of next week, the Reds are back out of town. It's the All-Star break. But, either way, I know Friday night is a fireworks Friday. Don't expect any washouts for that. I mean, you could get unlucky for that, but for the most part, should be in pretty good shape for Fireworks Friday. Saturday's a day we'll have to keep an eye on. It's a Hell's Real Derby, and that is going to be FC Cincinnati hosting the Yellow people from up north, the Yellow Columbus Crews. Nobody likes those people. Avoid wearing yellow this week, just in case, or else you might catch some grief from the FC Cincinnati fans. If you're going to be out and about. Yeah, it's going to be interesting on Saturday because we do have a cold front that's going to dive on through. Hello, good afternoon, Garnet. Good to see you. Yeah, if it could be my forecast, trust me, it'd be 70, low humidity, and sunshine every day. Maybe a few storms in there just to make it interesting. Yeah, just delivering the bad news. Saturday. Of course, big game out there with the big derby in town. If you're going to be down at TQL Stadium, this is not going to be a washout, but the rain chances do look, this is a little change from yesterday. Yesterday it looked like most of the rain was going to come in early with the cold front. It looks like this model that we like to use for the extended forecast has slowed that front arrival down. That it would be bad news because what that does is then put the best window of timing, for storms right around match time. So 5 o'clock, everybody's having a great time downtown, getting some drinks in and whatnot. I'm staying hydrated with water, too. Marching into the stadium, all that kind of stuff. Slim chance for storms at that point. And again, this is a long ways out. It just changed from yesterday. That's why, we give you a general forecast this far out because, a lot of things do change outside of 4 to 5 days. By the time we get a little closer to match time, you can see that cold front gets a little bit closer to downtown. And with that, I'm not expecting a washout for this, but there will be at least a chance right around 7, maybe even 6 o'clock to about 8 o'clock to see some lightning in the area. That, of course, would put a delay on things. We'll keep an eye on that for your Saturday evening. But the later we get the night, generally the better it's going to be. Robbie, I'm getting there in just a second. I was asking about Sunday's forecast. So Saturday night, again, keeping an eye on things. Right now, there is at least a chance for storms. Won't be a washout. I don't think we have a problem getting that match in. But for the most part, could have some storms in there. We'll keep an eye on things for Saturday once the high-res models start coming in later this week. Sunday, Robbie, just like I told you, as promised here, we do have a spotty shower chance. Not anything widespread, but there's a spotty chance for some storms outside for your second half of the weekend. But overall, looks like the drier of the 2 days. Not completely rain-free. You could get unlucky and, stay completely dry Saturday, then get, hammered with rain on Sunday. But, for the most part, generally for the area as a whole, Sunday looks to be the drier of the 2 days. Just spotty storms in the forecast, temperatures mid to upper 80s. A brief break maybe in some humidity as well on Sunday. Because Saturday's rain opportunity is going to be with a cold front similar to today. And that could catch us, get us a little bit of a break. Catch a little bit of a break there with the humidity. By Monday, you guessed it, I told you I'd say rain about 400 times. Rain is pushing back in again Monday. Monday and Tuesday both. More scattered storms out there. And, just seems like we aren't going to catch much of a break until maybe the middle of next week. Well, yesterday, again, speaking of changes in the models, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Yesterday looked like by Tuesday we were going to dry back out a little bit. But this is a pattern that looks like it's just going to stick around for a while. I don't know if I can do this while it's in play mode. I cannot. Let's try to drag this out a little bit. See what happens. So, as you can see, even going into Thursday and Friday, not much of a breakout there. So, this is a very soggy stretch as we started the show with here. If you were watching towards the top, I'll hop back to it, our weather number, because I do think it's interesting if we make a run at this with all those rain chances. I mean, I know we had our soggy stretches earlier this year, but number is 7. 7 is the number of consecutive days with measurable precip in 2025. That was our longest stretch, a full week with measurable precipitation, at least 1/100th of an inch. That was from April, 28th or 29th through May 5th. So that was our 7 days. That's the longest this year, the longest ever recorded for Cincinnati. We hit it 4 times. It was 11 days. And we have at least, counting yesterday, it would be 9 days with rain chances. It's just a matter of whether or not we can get some rain over at the airport. So we'll see. We'll try to make a run at least at 7, even if we don't see the rain today, because we do have 7 more days starting tomorrow to try to get that in. All right, let's hop back down here. Flooding threat, because, you think a lot of rain opportunities. A lot of this being scattered and spotty rather than just a widespread swath of rain all at one time. Despite several days in a row of rainfall, I think we'll have enough dry time in between that the flash flooding threat generally should be a little bit lower. With that said, I mean, if one area sees rain day after day, we'll keep an eye on things. Obviously, the folks up at the National Weather Service office in Wilmington will keep a close eye on this too. But going to be feast or famine again for most. And you can see this is a perfect example of that. Off to our east, this particular model shows an inch or less of rainfall, whereas off to the west, it shows 3 to 5 plus inches of rain. And we're kind of sandwiched right there in the middle. So what this tells you is generally, farther east you go, lesser the rain chances, lesser rain in total. Off to the west, generally higher amounts. Grain of salt, some spots just generally in the tri-state, most areas anyway, are going to pick up about an inch of rain over the next week, which is nice. You can always use that this time of the year, especially with how hot it's been. It gives you a break, watering the lawn out there saves you a few bucks and a few hours of time out there through the week by the time it's all said and done. So a little bit of free rain and a free car wash never hurt anybody until it's a lot of rain and too many car washes. That's where you have to keep an eye on the flooding threat, but just something to keep an eye on. If we do start seeing, intense downpours or training storms through this week, obviously we can adjust this. And, no problem. You too. Have a good day. We'll adjust this through the week, but for right now, it looks like we'll at least miss the worst of it, but still going to get dinged pretty good here with rain through this week. And then finally, the next 7 days here, let's start to hop to it, and we'll see if there's any more questions that pop up. Another piece of good news, as I mentioned towards the top there, when you see all this rain this time of the year, it helps to keep temperatures a little bit more seasonable, whereas we saw a dry streak a couple weeks ago. We had that stretch of 90s. It was miserable. It's still going to be humid, don't get me wrong. 85 degrees outside, or 86 as the normal for the rest of July. The entire month of July, normal high temperature is 86 degrees. That's where we should be. And you can see we're almost within a degree or so of both sides of that, maybe a degree or two for the rest of the forecast. So it helps to keep, temperatures a little bit stable. Now with all the additional moisture, keeping temperatures stable, heat indices are going to be pretty balmy. You'll feel it, low to mid 90s out there. And then when we dry out a little bit towards the end of next week, or so the start of next week, that's when the heat indices are going to try climbing again back into the triple digits. So something to keep an eye on for next week. Here is the 7-day forecast. That's the wrong one. I knew it. I forget something. Here we go. Let's get the other one. This is the PM version, which I like to show you because this does get us out to next Tuesday. So working our way through the day today, slim chance for showers. Scattered storms return tomorrow, and then Thursday we wrap up the series with the Marlins. 6 out of 7 isn't bad. We'll take all 6 of the next games here, all the way through the Rockies series, which begins with a fireworks Friday. Scattered storms outside for your Wednesday evening. Thursday, scattered storms. Friday, spotty thunderstorms outside. I don't think it's going to be a washout for any of these days, but the best chances overall are going to be Wednesday and Thursday, and then things become pretty spotty on Friday. Not to say we can't see, some issues for the Reds games any of these days, but, the lesser of the chances anyway going to be on Friday. Saturday, keeping our eyes on the storms again, which do look to push in through the evening hours. It was a little slower on the run today than what we saw outside with yesterday's model runs. And again, what that means is that puts it a little bit closer to match time for your Saturday. Something to keep an eye on there for the Hell is Real Derby. Sunday, spotty thunderstorms, lesser chances. I got us about 30% of the tri-state seeing storms outside for Sunday. And then Monday and Tuesday, things ramp back up again as another weather maker pushes back in. So you're going to get real tired real quick of me saying rain the next several days, because that is what we have in the forecast. A lot of it. A lot of chances out there. But again, pros, cons, it keeps temperatures a little bit cooler. The con is, of course, it makes it soggy, gloomy, and it ruins some of your outdoor plans. But if you can, try to get some of the yard work in today. Today will be your best day of the next 7, your next driest day of the next 7 to get out there and get some of that yard work in if you can. Just make sure to take plenty of breaks because it will be hot. It will be humid outside. High temperatures today, mid to upper 80s. Can't rule out a few 90s, and of course feels like temperatures will be in the mid 90s. So enjoy yourself a day. Remember, it's Burger Week out there. Cincinnati Burger Week. I got to find a place that's open on a Tuesday. I'm going to go check out the list and see what we got and maybe try to snag a burger outside maybe for this wonderful Tuesday while it's still dry out there. Don't forget, you can always follow me on the old Facebook, the Twitter, and on Instagram. It just depends on what you're looking for. There's a little bit of similar kind of crossover things on each of these pages. Facebook is primarily weather stuff and a few good jokes. Twitter, or X, mostly breaking. I don't get on there a whole lot anymore. But it is, you'll see, emergency alerts, weather alerts get posted to that fairly regularly. I try to keep that part of it active. And then Instagram's more personal. You'll see me out and about doing random things if you really care that much. And other fun things. And then every now and then weather or birds or goats. So all of those things, you can follow me there. Would appreciate that. And we'll try to keep you up to date on what's happening weather-wise through this week, because it does look like a busy stretch ahead. A lot of rain chances out there. Like I said, today the driest of the next 7. Get out there and enjoy.